So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 20 minutes. So, the idea behind this lecture series is very simple. We don't want you to ignore your current affairs because current affairs form the most important portion of your UPSC or any other state civil services examinations syllabus. You cannot clear civil services exam without covering current affairs, and you should cover current affairs on a daily basis. But you shouldn't spend your entire day in reading the newspaper or in covering the current affairs for that day. You should spend only a limited amount of time for covering your current affairs, and you should leave the rest of your day for covering other subjects because other subjects are also important, right? So, I have come out with a strategy for you guys to cover your current affairs on a daily basis, and that strategy involves this lecture series. What you have to do is around 20 minutes you have to spend watching this lecture. By watching this lecture, you'll be able to cover all the important current affairs for the day, okay, for that day. Then, just after watching this lecture, you have to revise what was discussed in the lecture. And you can revise that through our PDF file. So, all what is discussed in this particular lecture will be shared with you in a written form in a PDF file. So 20 minutes you have to spend watching this lecture, and 20 or to 25 minutes you have to spend revising from the PDF file. And in about 40 to 45 minutes, you'll be done for the day as far as current affairs are concerned. Now, the rest of the day is yours. Use it wisely to cover other subjects of your syllabus as well. All right? Okay. So today we are going to be covering October 24th, 2024's current affairs and what are the important news items that featured in today's newspaper. So here's the list of important topics of the day or today's topics that we need to focus on. Number one is diamonds to prevent global warming. Recently, a new study has found that we can use diamond or diamond dust to prevent global warming. Now, how is that possible? It's a very fascinating thing. So we'll talk about this fascinating news story. Then, recently, Supreme Court has given a ruling and in that ruling, it has said that industrial alcohol will be taxed only by states. State governments have the power to tax and regulate industrial alcohol, not the central government. Okay, there was a dispute going on between center and states as to who has the power to regulate industrial alcohol. Both central government and state government went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has decided in the favor of state government. So we'll talk about this issue. Then recently, Cyclone Dana has been gaining strength in Bay of Bengal, and it might strike, and it will, in fact, not might, will strike the coasts of Odisha and West Bengal. So we'll talk about Cyclone Dana. And recently, many people have gotten hospitalized, and one of them died actually because of E.Coli infection. Now, these people who got this E.Coli infection and got hospitalized were in USA, and all of them actually ate McDonald's. So that is why McDonald's has actually closed its stores, because most of these people who have been hospitalized because of E. coli bacterial infection got this infection after eating McDonald's burgers. Okay, so what is E. coli bacteria, E. coli or E. coli? What is its, how does it spread? How serious it is? We'll talk about this. All right, so let's quickly begin the discussion, starting with topic number one, which is the most fascinating topic, if you ask for my opinion. Diamonds to prevent global warming. Okay, now what was in the news basically? A new study has argued that spraying millions of tons of diamond dust in the Earth's upper atmosphere every year could help cool down the Earth and combat global warming. Now, what has this study found? That if you crush the diamonds and create diamond dust, and then you spray this dust into the upper atmosphere, then this diamond dust would stay in Earth's upper atmosphere and would reflect back solar radiation. Okay, so sun's radiations coming to the Earth, coming to our planet, most of it would get reflected back because of this diamond dust in the upper atmosphere. Okay, this would actually reduce the levels of global warming. It would cool down the Earth and would also help us fight against global warming. Okay, we are fighting against global warming, climate change by introducing renewable energy and many other things. But this is also a way through which you can combat global warming. Now, it's not just diamond dust that you can spray in the upper atmosphere. sulfur, calcium, aluminium, and silicon particles can also be sprayed in the upper atmosphere. And all these elements have the property of reflecting back solar radiation. Okay. So these materials can reflect back solar radiation, and that is why we are talking about spraying these elements in the upper atmosphere. Okay. The central idea here is to scatter material that can reflect solar radiation into the space, back into the space. Now, there are various scientific solutions being proposed to prevent global warming. Okay. There are various scientific experiments that people have proposed which can actually stop global warming. All such solutions are called geoengineering solutions. Okay. So, the spraying of diamond dust or sulfur dust is also a geoengineering solution, which begs the question, what is geoengineering? Okay. So, geoengineering is also known as climate engineering. It refers to a broad set of methods and technologies that aim to deliberately alter the climate system in order to alleviate the impacts of climate change. Basically, in simple words, geoengineering is an umbrella term for all those methods and technologies that can be put to use, and those methodologies would reduce Earth's temperature. Like spraying of diamond dust would reduce Earth's temperature, right? So it is a geoengineering solution. Now, there are many geoengineering solutions, okay, many. And all these geoengineering solutions can be categorized into two parts, two categories. One is called solar radiation management. So, solar radiation management is when you have solar radiation management actually includes those methodologies which would reflect back sun's radiation. Okay, so it includes diamond dust, okay, sulfur dust. In fact, some people were arguing about placing mirrors, very large mirrors in the space which would reflect back solar radiation. Okay, all of this is categorized under the heading of solar radiation management. Then there is another set of methodologies which would actually remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. As you all know, carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, and it has contributed a lot towards global warming. If the levels of carbon dioxide are reduced in the atmosphere, well, we can reduce the levels of global warming. So the second set of solutions under geoengineering are called carbon dioxide removal. Under this, we remove carbon dioxide from the air and store it wherever we want to. Okay, so there are two types of geoengineering techniques: solar radiation management and carbon dioxide removal. The spraying of diamond dust or silicon dust or sulfur dust all belong to the category of solar radiation management. Now, let's talk about them in detail. So, solar radiation management is reflecting back sun's radiations. Okay, it can be done through spraying diamond dust, sulfur dust, calcium, aluminium, silicon particles, installation of space-based mirrors. We can do this, and we can reflect back solar radiation. Then the other method is carbon dioxide removal. And carbon dioxide removal, this technique or this category of geoengineering involves various methods. Some of them are carbon capture and sequestration. Okay, so what you do is you put some instruments on all the polluting industries. Okay, so all these polluting industries which are emitting carbon dioxide, you have put an instrument. So the carbon dioxide emitted by these industries is captured in these scientific instruments, and then this carbon dioxide is converted into carbon and stored underground. So capture means capturing the emitted carbon dioxide, and then sequestration is storing it. Then carbon capture and utilization. You can capture emitted carbon dioxide from the polluting industries and use that carbon as input, as raw material in other industries. So this is known as carbon capture and utilization. Then carbon capture, utilization and storage, which means capture the carbon, utilize it as inputs in other industries, and you can store it underground. And last is direct air capture methods. This involves directly grabbing CO2 from the atmosphere. Okay. In all the above three categories, what we were doing is we were capturing carbon dioxide being emitted from factories. In this, we go into the atmosphere and take out carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, okay, and store it underground. So these are the geoengineering techniques. All right. I hope I have explained this topic in its totality. All right. You don't need to know more about this topic. Okay. Let's shift our focus to second topic of the day, which is Supreme Court on taxing industrial alcohol. Now, what was in the news? A 9-judge Supreme Court bench held in a 8-1 ruling on Wednesday that states have the power to tax not just alcoholic beverages but also industrial alcohol. Okay. Now, the Supreme Court has said that states have the power to not just tax alcoholic beverages but industrial alcohol also. Now, what is this issue? Why did this matter go to the Supreme Court? I'll explain in a few minutes, in a couple of minutes. Okay. Now, as you all know, that the seventh schedule of our constitution has distributed powers between center and states. Okay. So, seventh schedule of our constitution contains three lists. Okay. List one is known as union list, in which the powers or the subjects on which center can make a law are mentioned. Then there is list 2, okay, which is the state list. In this, all those subjects are mentioned on which states can make a law. And then there is list 3, which is concurrent list. It contains those subjects on which both center and states can make a law. Okay, so union list, state list, and concurrent list. Now, in state list, it is mentioned that the sale, consumption, production of intoxicating alcohol. Okay, intoxicating alcohol means alcohol used by people to intoxicate themselves. Okay, so alcoholic beverages. So the power to regulate the sale, consumption, power of taxation on intoxicating alcohol lies with the state government. Okay, lies with the state. It is clearly written in the constitution. But the thing is, in union list, it is mentioned that parliament or center has the power to regulate any industry. Now, the question arose that constitution is very clear about the state's powers. Constitution has said that the state has power to regulate intoxicating alcohol. Okay, alcohol used as beverages. Okay, alcohol used for human consumption. But the constitution has not said that even industrial alcohol is covered under intoxicating alcohol, right? The parliament or the union government has said that since industrial alcohol was not mentioned in the state list, intoxicating alcohol is mentioned in the state list. Therefore, the power to tax and regulate industrial alcohol lies with the center, because in the union list it is written that center can regulate any industry. Okay, so the central government has been saying that as far as alcoholic beverages are concerned, states have the power. But industrial alcohol is concerned, which is not used for consumption, it is used in the as raw material in industry. Industrial alcohol, the power to tax on industrial alcohol lies with us, to regulate it lies with us. Now, both states and center disagreed, and both of them went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has ruled in the favor of the state. Supreme Court has said that the term intoxicating alcohol includes industrial alcohol. Therefore, states now have the power to even tax industrial alcohol. The center is not happy with this decision, but this is the final decision. Okay. Now, this decision will definitely add to the revenue of the state, because now the state governments can tax industrial alcohol and earn more money. Okay. Here's the background of the dispute. I have explained to you the dispute. It is related to two entries in the seventh schedule. Okay. Entry number 8 in list 2, state list, which says that the power to regulate intoxicating liquor. Okay. And entry number 52 in the union list says that the center has the right to regulate industries. So it is because of these two entries in the seventh schedule of the constitution that both these arms of the government, or both these wings of the federation, center and states, disagreed on. They disagreed on the interpretation of the constitution. Okay, whether states should go with whether industrial alcohol is included in the definition of intoxicating liquor, or whether industrial alcohol is different, and hence union has the power to regulate it. So it was a constitutional dispute. It went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled in the favor of states. Okay, these were the arguments given by center and states. I have explained it to you. Now, one more thing you need to know. You need to know what industrial alcohol is. Okay, look, one is normal alcohol. Okay, or we call them alcoholic beverages, what is consumed by people. Now, alcoholic beverages are made up of ethanol. And ethanol is actually made by fermenting. Okay, it is created by a process of fermentation of sugar, molasses, and grains, many other things. So through the process of fermentation, you create ethanol, and ethanol is used in various alcoholic beverages. If you ferment grapes, you get wine. If you ferment wheat, you get beer, right? And so on and so forth. Now, alcohol has various applications in industry also. It is used as an industrial solvent and it is used in various industries. Now, how do we create industrial alcohol? So this is ethanol. We mix benzene, pyridine, gasoline in this alcohol. Okay. So we mix these compounds in this alcohol and then it becomes industrial alcohol. Now, the process of mixing these chemicals in normal alcohol, in ethanol, is known as denaturation. And that is why industrial alcohol is also known as denatured alcohol. Now, this alcohol is poisonous for human beings. Human beings cannot consume it because these chemicals are poisonous. Okay. So, this alcohol is unfit for human consumption and is only used in industrial procedures. All right. Okay. That's about it. Now, let's move on to our third news item, which is Cyclone Dana. Okay. So the Indian Meteorological Department said that Cyclone Dana will likely intensify into a severe cyclonic storm and make landfall. That means it will hit the coasts of West Bengal and Odisha. Now, Cyclone Dana, expected to generate wind speeds of 100 to 110 km per hour, is a tropical cyclone. In fact, India's National Disaster Management Authority classifies cyclones into two parts. So there are two types of cyclones. One, tropical cyclones, which currently Cyclone Dana is, and the other are called extratropical cyclones. These extratropical cyclones do not occur in tropical regions. Okay, these are cyclones that occur in temperate regions or higher latitudes or beyond Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn. As you know, if this is the equator and this is the Tropic of Cancer and this is Tropic of Capricorn, this area between Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn is known as tropical regions. So tropical cyclones occur in these areas. Extratropical cyclones occur in areas above or below Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn. Okay, so NDMA classifies that there are two types of cyclones: tropical, extratropical. Okay, Cyclone Dana is tropical, and the more dangerous ones are also tropical cyclones. Now, basically, what is a cyclone? You must know about cyclone, as this picture also suggests clearly. This is a cyclone. Cyclone is a large-scale system of air that rotates around a center of low-pressure area. So when you see large air mass rotating around a center, which is a low-pressure area, this is a cyclone. Now, it usually is accompanied by violent storms, bad weather, torrential rainfall. Okay. Now, remember this fact. A cyclone is characterized by inward spiraling of winds. Winds are moving in this direction. Okay, like this. Now, remember that cyclones in the northern hemisphere, on cyclones that occur above the equator, okay, north of equator, northern hemisphere, the winds rotate anti-clockwise. And in the southern hemisphere, they rotate clockwise. Remember this fact because it can be asked in prelims, okay, in an MCQ form. So northern hemisphere cyclones are anti-clockwise, southern hemisphere they are clockwise. Now, the difference between tropical and extratropical cyclones, well, you'll do that in detail when we'll study geography subject. Okay, you don't need to study that in your current affairs lecture. If you have already covered geography, you know what is the difference between temperate cyclones and tropical cyclones. But still, for your reference, I have mentioned the major differences between tropical and extratropical cyclones. All right. And now let's move on to our last topic of the day, which is about E. coli bacteria. So why E. coli bacteria was in the news? One person has died and 10 have been hospitalized in US due to an E. coli infection after eating McDonald's burgers. The outbreak is restricted to 10 states in US. Okay. Now, E. coli is one such bacteria whose infection causes gastrointestinal symptoms. That means your stomach is upset. Okay. And it is not uncommon in India. Many Indians also suffer from this. In fact, many cases of food poisoning, as they say, involve E. coli bacterial infection. So, what is this E. coli bacteria? Okay. So, E. coli, the E in this stands for Escherichia coli, commonly known as E. coli, is a rod-shaped bacterium. So the shape of the bacteria is rod-shaped. That can be found in the intestines of humans and animals. So this bacteria, this rod-shaped bacteria, is found in the intestines of humans as well as various animals. Now this E. coli bacteria has various strains. Okay, some strains of this bacteria are beneficial for humans. We need this bacteria. But some strains are harmful and disease causing and infection causing. So not all E. coli bacteria are bad. Some strains of E. coli bacteria are good. But those who are bad, those strains that are bad, They cause very bad symptoms or very bad illnesses like diarrhea, UTI, urinary tract infection, respiratory illness, pneumonia, other illnesses. Now, E. coli is transmitted through contaminated food. So through food poisoning or food contamination, water contamination, coming in contact with the fecal matter, okay, then you contact E. coli infection. And maybe that's what happened with people in US who ate McDonald's burgers, because McDonald's burgers might have had E. coli. Their food must have been contaminated. Okay. Now, what are the symptoms of E. coli infection? The most familiar, yeah. So, some strains of E. coli are beneficial, but some strains are harmful. Why those strains are harmful? Because those harmful strains of E. coli release a toxin called Shiga. And this Shiga is responsible for rupturing the inner lining of your small intestine, which gives you those symptoms like diarrhea and various other. Okay. So, because of Shiga, your stomach gets upset. The most common symptoms are fever, diarrhea, bloody diarrhea, vomiting, dehydration. Now, how is it treated? Well, it is treated through prescription of antibiotics. But you should first get yourself checked by a doctor before taking antibiotics. You shouldn't take antibiotics on your own because already antibiotic resistance is being seen. So that is why you need to take antibiotics only after the prescription of a doctor. Okay, but generally antibiotics are used to treat E. coli infection. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation, but it would add more value if you follow the regime I explained to you in the beginning, right? Watch this lecture and then revise this lecture from our PDF file. Now that PDF file will be shared on our Telegram channel. Okay. So our Telegram channel basically contains this PDF file for this lecture. Download that PDF file from our Telegram channel and revise it. Okay. Now, where can you find our Telegram channel? Well, the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the description. In the comment section below this video. So click on that link. You'll be taken to our Telegram channel, and from there you can download this PDF file. On that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.